What's up, people? How are you? I hope you're having a wonderful day. I'm recording this podcast that came to me as an inspiration, or maybe even as questions that I got lately from people that were in some sort connected to life purpose and what they are I mean, yeah, what they are meant to do in this life, and also in regards to my purpose in life and what I'm kind of meant to do and serve in this world. And I want to address this topic of how to recognize your purpose and just share a little bit about my perspective on what is our purpose and how we can recognize it, and whether this is like a concept that is man-made, or is that something that truly we have within, or kind of we have in a agenda of what we will do in this world. So to begin with, yeah, I just want to really address this concept of, you know, I think that we are, like, in general, way too focused on finding your purpose. Because, like, if someone would said to me 10 years ago, you have to find your purpose, or even 5 years ago, you have to stick with one thing and then just go for it and just work through it like hell, because only that will give you, the best results if you are consistent and if you really persist in whatever you are, trying to master. However, I think that a huge part, or I would say, yeah, a huge part of finding your purpose is being confused, which is kind of like a controversial thing. But anyway, I think it's like, I'll say it like this: I don't think we have one particular purpose that we could say, like, oh, this is the purpose that you have, and the end. I think we definitely have some abilities that other people don't have, and we are better in certain things than other people are. And those, like, gifts are usually connected to our purpose. However, I believe that there are many things that can be brought out from this gift. It's not like there is one specific thing that once you realize, oh, I'm really good at that you will do it for the rest of your life and you will never change anything about it, and you will always, like, just stick to that, specific thing that you're doing. I believe that what society is trying to project on us regarding the purpose is kind of like, the purpose is something that have to be defined, and once you have it defined, it cannot be changed. And I don't believe in that. I believe that the purpose is something that will keep on evolving as you evolve as a human, as a soul. And like I said, a huge part of finding what that thing is will be you being confused and not knowing and just doing things that makes no sense. And I do believe that if you want to get on the right track of following your purpose, you have to follow your heart. That's the first thing. Like, if there is one ingredient that you need to really live your purpose in this life, is to have courage. Because, like, okay, I'll try to explain it from a bit higher perspective. So let's say that your purpose in life is connected to helping others, and I think every purpose is, in certain way. So it's kind of like, let's say a purpose is something that's been given to us, or, like, I would say, like, a gift that is connected to purpose is something that was given to us by our light, by our like, positive aspect of us, or I would say by God, or whoever you believe in, or universe, or whatever. And like I have addressed, like, a couple of times, it's like, On a higher perspective, there is always like the battle between the light and the dark. And if you look at this, it's like, of course, if you have a specific gift and you have something that is way more advanced in, like a skill that is way more advanced than other people have it, of course, that's something that the dark will try to suppress within you. So usually what happens is that you will have a lot of fear around the gifts, around sharing the gifts that are your unique ability that you have in this life. So I think this goes hand in hand. It's like if you have something really, really powerful, of course, the dark side will try to suppress that. And the dark side is usually suppressing by fear, by making us believe that, oh, if we share this, we're gonna die, or something bad will happen, or people are not gonna like us, or whatever. You know, there's so many stories that we can make up in our head, but what's like the main ingredient of the story is that there is fear around it, and that fear is trying to keep us away from exploring these gifts and sharing it with the world. So, if you want to find out what your gifts are and what, like, consequently your purpose is, you will have to have a lot of courage, because usually the gifts will be hidden behind fear, but you will recognize that because there's going to be a fear and excitement together. So, usually, when it comes to exploring your gifts, it's never just fear. On some level, there is also excitement. And I recognize within myself that whenever I have a battle and I'm afraid to do something, I will always check in with myself and ask, is there excitement present as well? Can I like picture myself doing that instead of having, I mean, despite of having fear? And do I get excited by thinking of doing that? And if the answer is yes, then I say to myself that I have to do it. And I do believe that courage is the number one action, or it's not even action, it's the number one thing that you have to have in order to find your purpose, because only through that you will start exploring your gifts and eventually come to that something that you are extremely good at, and you will know that that gift is somehow connected to your purpose. So, um, when you will start exploring what these gifts are, or I would actually say when you start having a courage and then you just follow like the intuitive actions that comes up of like, oh, you have to go there, oh, try this, or reach out to this person, or ask this, or get this course done, or move to this country, or whatever it is. The common thing is that you have no clue, like no rational clue why you have to do this. And it's funny because now that I look back in the way I was like introduced to my purpose and my gifts, I really didn't know why all of a sudden I had the urge of like, oh, I have to move there. I have to go there. Oh, I have to reach out to this person. I don't know why, but I just have to. Or like sometimes like the messages were like so strange. But I always had this, like I always recognized when something came from within and it make no freaking sense. And I recognized it, and as soon as I recognized it, there was like basically zero people around me that could influence me and tell me that I shouldn't do that. And that's like something that I would say I'm very proud of myself, because there's been so many times that I wanted to take a certain step and it was so illogical and so scary and so out of the blue that people tried to talk me out of it. But if I knew deep within that that's what I have to do, I always stick to it. And I believe that this was the main reason why I was able to grow so fast and why I was able to reach my gifts like at a certain young age, I would say. So yeah, so that's definitely one thing that I would advise to anyone. It's like if you have a certain knowing that comes from within of like, oh, I have to do this, or sometimes it's even like not exciting. It's like, oh, I have to leave this person behind and move on. Sometimes it's something like that, or I have to leave this job behind, and it feels like crazy scary or crazy like illogical, but you just know that that's the step you need in order to maybe also I was always saying to myself that in that way, if I'm following my instinct, I will send out the message to the universe that I'm really ready to step up, and I'm really ready to, you know, yeah, listen to myself and get on the next level. So that was always like kind of like I saw it as a message that I'm sending out, and I was always communicating with the universe in a way of like, okay, I hear you, I hear that instinct within me that I have to do this, but I'm freaking scared, and I want you to reward me for that step. So I was always saying out loud, and I've been repeating that all the time through making that decision and doing the steps. I was like, I'm doing it, but you have to show me that I did the right thing. So I'm expecting huge miracles. I'm expecting to be rewarded. I'm expecting to get the like loud and clear sign that this was the right thing to do. So it's funny because anytime I did any of my huge decisions, like it was usually within the days that I got something in return that was like, holy freaking god. Like that came out of the blue, and that was exactly what I needed to get a like kind of proven that I did the right step and that I'm supported on my journey. That's why it was probably not that hard for me in the end to follow my voice, because I kind of knew that I will always have benefits from overcoming fear. So yeah, so that's just something that you can implement as well. Okay, so once you get to the point of doing the steps, like one thing that I really want to repeat is it might look for a while that things are very confusing and people around you can be like, what are you doing with your life? It makes no sense. You have no clear path. There is no strategy. You're just doing one thing and then the other thing. And what the fuck is that? And it's often that people are like judging us from the distance and being like, okay, she went crazy. She's doing these things and like it makes clearly no sense. But that's like a necessary step. You have to step out of the matrix. You have to step out of the program that you were built in, or that was kind of like built within you, and start choosing for yourself. And it's a necessary step that you believe in it even though other people don't. That's like a really, really important step. And then once you start to follow this instinct and just go for it and see what you're passionate about. And here's the thing, like you can be passionate about things that make no correlation between each other. So for example, you can be passionate about art, but at the same time you can be passionate about science, and you can be pulled to study science and at the same time like do the art. And it's funny because you don't need to know why you are pulled in those two directions. It's usually after time you will realize that your purpose is kind of to like connect or merge these two kind of like opposite worlds into something that is clearly totally unique for yourself. For example, for me, it was like I've been really into science and I really wanted to understand how our body works. And I was diving into biochemistry and molecular nutrition, and I was like really, really curious. Like, I wanted to know everything that's happening in the cell, like on the molecular level, and like stuff that usually people are like, whatever, I couldn't be bothered. But I really wanted to know. And then on the other hand, I was like really feeling that I want to know more about the energies, or I would actually say that I've been working with energies like ever since. But like once became open to that, and I became open to my intuition telling me what is the energy of a person and what this energy means, then on some level I started to merging my knowledge, like especially when it comes to healing the body. It's like such a powerful tool to have the scientific background, knowing everything that's happening in the body, and then on the other hand being so intuitive that you can immediately know like what's the problem in the body. But of course, if you want to be intuitive and know like what's happening in the body, of course you have to somehow know what's happening in the body. Like, I mean, what are the processes that could be potentially disturbed in the body. So I just realized that this is like such a powerful combination that can really benefit me to help others heal their bodies. And there's so many other things. And it's like, probably I'm not even aware yet why do I need this combination and where it's going to help me in the future. But it's just something that I'm like still pulled into both directions. Okay, so how do you know that something is your unique gift that you are meant to share with the world, and that gift being connected to your purpose? So, first thing, like I said, you have to be passionate about it. It's like there's a something within you that is telling you, I want to know that, or I'm curious to explore more. I want to dive deeper into this. And it's usually like in your free time, you are like voluntarily learning or diving into this topic. It's not like you have to do it for your school. It's like you want to do it. Then the other thing is that something, or usually your gift, is connected to something that you are learning way, way, way faster than other people. So for me, for example, when it comes to science, I didn't have that feeling because it was pretty hard for me to learn all the stuff and memorize it. But when it comes to energy work and theta healing or all the other healing modalities, I was like, I have been like, as soon as I get the healing done with a certain type of healing technique on myself, and I feel how the technique is working, I can immediately know how I can do it on others. Like it's just, I don't know, it's just something that comes natural to me. And it's like, I just have to read something about this healing modality. And I'm like, oh yeah, sure, I can do that. And it's like, it's crazy how easy it sound and feels for me. It's like, I don't know, it's just like in my brain, everything connects, everything is like, yeah, sure, easy busy, I can do it anytime. And there is always a certain knowing connected to it. So you have a deeper knowing that is like, cannot be read or cannot be heard, but it's like, it's coming from within when someone is telling you something about this topic, and there is something within you that it's like, ah, okay. And you already know like way more about it than maybe even the person that is telling you about it. It's like, it's a gift, but we all have it in different areas. Like some people are so talented by music, for music, that they can hear one song and they can immediately know how the song was like composed and like all the different aspects of it, and like they can hear different, instrument in the background, and they can analyze it like in bits, and they can already play it. And that's like a gift. But it's like, usually those gifts are like, at least that's how it was in my brain, I connected them to the things that I already knew. Like, for example, I thought that you can have these gifts in like music, or you can have these gifts in sport, but I didn't know that you can have like the talent and gifts when it comes to reading people, or someone telling you their story or whatever is happening with them. And like in my head, I immediately see and hear the higher picture, and like get all the dots connected of like, why is this happening to them, what do they need to learn, and like already seeing through them, no matter how many masks they put on themselves. And it wasn't until like when I was 22 or 23 that it hit me for the first time that I have talents too, and that reading people and like sensing the energy of a room or of people or of their intentions or whatever, that's a gift. And once I started to like recognize it as a gift, and the more I was observing it, it just like, I just saw that it comes so natural to me. And I even remembered in the past how often it happened to me that I was doing this with other people, and I just thought that everyone else can do it. And it didn't actually click within my head until I realized that that's a gift. And it didn't click, like, not even when I was in school, when all the people came to me for their advice, for the advice that they need. I didn't recognize, oh, maybe I'm good with this. I didn't know that this is a talent or whatever. So anyway, and then yeah. So when it comes to this gift, one thing that is connected to it is this will be your zone of genius. Like, that's, if you haven't read the book The Big Leap from Gay Hendricks, I definitely recommend it. He's talking all about finding your zone of genius, how it's like most people are stuck in their zone of excellence. So they're good at something, they learn a lot about it, and then they're like, oh yeah, this is like, I'm good at that, I can make money from that, and that's okay. But they don't tap into their zone of genius. And it's actually when you tap into the zone of genius that you will recognize within yourself that you have a certain power that cannot be found like so easily in other people. And one thing that I realized that is again connected to your gifts and purposes is that you will, when you will do something that is like your gift, or when you will create something from that zone of genius, you yourself will be like shocked by what you have delivered, or you will be like inspired by your own creation of like, wow, that's really good. And I'm not saying this in like, like a egocentric way. You can still have like a lot of humility, but it's like, it's just like, it's funny because it feels like it wasn't even you creating it, but like you were a channel for letting this go through you. And once you create it and you observe it, you're like, wow, like that shit is really, really good. And that's how you can recognize your zone of genius. And it doesn't mean, like, I'm not trying to say that you didn't do it, because like that's also one aspect that I have to recognize within myself. that for a long time I wasn't willing to take any credits for the healings that I've done or for the writings that I've written or anything like that. I was like, no, it wasn't me, I was just channeling or just someone else was working through me or whatever. But there is still me. It's still through me. So there is an element that is like, hey, you did that. You should take some credits for it and you should be proud of yourself and you should value those gifts within you. So there's definitely an element of you that you have to recognize. However, it's usually that, yeah, like you just feel like it wasn't just you, or you feel like your ego was somehow absent during the creation. It's kind of like you were just creating from your pure soul and there was no ego involved. And when you observe it with ego again, you're like, what the fuck? This was really, really good. So yeah, so that's how I recognize my gifts. And like I said, I think that's the only thing that you should kind of pursue when it comes to like trying to get to your purpose. It's like follow your gifts and keep creating from your gifts, whatever those gifts are. And if you keep following your voice within and following whatever you hear as like, okay, this is what I want to do right now, this is what inspires me, this is what I feel passionate about, and then you keep on doing it, and at one point you will come to this point. Yeah, at one point you'll come to the point. Yeah, you will come to the point where you're like, this was so freaking good and I have to do it again, or I really enjoy it and it actually comes out really, really good. And that's going to be your purpose. However, that purpose can still evolve through years. It's not like there's going to be one specific thing that you're going to do and then you're going to keep on doing it for the rest of your life. You have all the rights to evolve, and it's actually, the only constant in life are changes. So I don't believe in that man-made concept of like, yeah, this is my purpose and I'll stick with that, and even if it doesn't feel right in like 10 years, I'll still keep doing that because now people got used to that I'm doing that and I don't want to disappoint them. It doesn't matter. Like, if you at one point feel like you don't want to do this anymore, or you want to shift your gifts into other aspects, or you want to use your gifts to create something totally new or totally out of blue, you have every right to do that. So that's my opinion on my perspective on purpose. I hope this was inspiring. I hoped it helped you open up some some truths about your gifts and your purpose. And if you have any questions regarding this topic, feel free to send me a private message or comment below. Also, make sure you subscribe, and if you are listening to this episode and you have enjoyed it, I would appreciate if you share it on your social media, tag Soulful Contributors in it so that I can see it. And yeah, just keep being great, keep being awesome, and keep following your heart. That's the only thing we need in life. Take care, guys, and talk to you soon. Bye bye.